affordable housing, because what they want is they want everybody to continue to rent. So what happens is they built these affordable housing buildings that they're spending almost $800,000 to $1 million per unit to build. Do you know that if you look at all these buildings, look at 79th and Halsted and all these different, when I say
condo on 79th and Halsted is insane.
Do you know they spent $48 million to build that building? $1 million per, damn near almost $1 million per unit. It's like 50 units in there. 50
79th and Halsted, every business around it is closed.
Because it's all fraud. What they do is they take all of these government incentives from the city, state, and the feds, and they bloat these budgets, and they put all these different fees of lawyers and all this, and everybody get paid on each project. They be getting paid $6 figures to $1 million per project. And they get all that money to say they build an affordable housing and take all these tax credits, and they spend $48 million to build that property. You know what I'm saying? And what we gonna do? We're going to go cut the ribbon and act like this was okay. Right. It don't take $1 million per apartment to build, just to keep us renting. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's my thing: if we had a program where, all right, we're going to incentivize people to build multi-units in the neighborhood, and we're going to turn them into condos so people can own.
Right.
Like, we have to be pushing ownership. Whenever they pushes you to rent or whatever they want to build, they building a lot of these senior facilities on purpose so that they can put our seniors in one building so they can come give them turkeys and take them to the polls. You get what I'm saying? Their whole goal is to control us.
Right.
So how can they control us? They make you rent, put you in a building where they can contain you. This is how they control us. We have to have freedom. And the only way to have freedom is if we own our block.
I'm just a girl from Chicago. What they say we're guilty for, they give us our trial. Granny say I'm innocent, trust in the Bible, but I trust in survival. Just a girl from Chicago.
Go, what's that word? It's KB Nene. I'm just a girl from Chicago. Today I got with me J. Mal Green. How you coming, gang?
Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm here.
Good. I'm chilling. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
For sure.
You our first real politician that we had.
I ain't a politician, but I'm in politics.
I was gonna say you into the politics.
In politics. I guess when I win mayor, they'll say I'm a politician, but for now I'm not.
For sure that. Before we start this interview, I gotta say my disclaimer. Everything we say on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please do not get yourself in a situation it's going to be real hard to get out of about something. I see it. Like I said, I'm locked in with the politics now. You know, I got the real power behind me now. I'm on the couch with I was just talking. For sure. But for the people who don't know you, tell them where you from and what you do.
I'm from Inglewood. I am in real estate, do a lot of real estate and real estate development. I invest in business owners who have the passion but don't have the capital, so I help them start up, and I'm all about building our city and making this a city that can grow and thrive. And so I jumped into politics really after activism, after I fought the politicians for many years, where whether it was leading the Laquan McDonald movement or fighting Chase Bank and getting them to give back $1 billion to the city. So the activism and then fighting the politics, but then being a politician that we actually need so that we can better our communities.
So it started like on your own free will, just basically seeing stuff that you was passionate about.
For sure.
You protesting, you putting, raising awareness on it.
Yep.
And that just led until you getting into politics. So it never was like, oh, I want to run for mayor.
Nah, it never was in a book for me. I mean, still to this day, you know, everybody always asks, oh, you running for mayor, you running for mayor. You know, I say this clearly, like, I don't have an itch for power. If I did, I would have got any other seat in the state, right? Because anybody really could beat me in any other seat. But that's just not that's not my pathway. I don't look to have a career in politics. I only ran for mayor because I know that the top dog in the city of Chicago can influence the rest of the city. They will control a $28 billion budget over all departments every year. So, you know what Daley did with that type of budget for his people.
They took it from
yeah. So you need an executor who is for the people and can put that money back in the hands of the people.
Yeah, you definitely, like, you were part of the people. Like, we grew up together, went to grammar school together, so you actually know the struggles we face and how the solutions that we need, for sure. For sure that. Outside of politics, speak on your childhood upbringing, because I first got introduced to you was in a play. You was singing and acting in a play, and I had to be probably like 6 or 7 years old. It's one of my earliest remember. So when I met you, when we started going to Oglesby together, I remembered you from the play. So we've been locked in since. So speak on some of that. Like, what was your early childhood? Like?
Well, I was kicked out of 9 schools.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
We're gonna get into that. So, well, a piece when I got to 5th grade, my 5th grade teacher had grabbed my mama and was like, "Look, he got a lot of energy and a lot of talent. You need to take him to ETA Creative Arts and you need to start him in acting." And my mom was like, "All right, let me get him a outlet." Because I was singing too, right? I was a singing kid and I was the class clown and I was, crazy in school too. So my mom took me and started me in acting. And so now I'm doing stage plays and, it was fun for me to do. I still was getting in trouble in school. But I had an outlet in that route. I just saw one of my mentors, Robert Townsend from the 5 Heartbeats. Yeah. He was one when I was a kid to grab me and say, "I'm writing him in this movie." And he wrote me in Boys and Men with Angela Bassett that was shot in Chicago. And so I was a kid in that movie with a speaking role, right? So, I had a lot of great mentors like Pamon Rami and Renako Jahi, some real key people in acting who saw me and saw my talent and, put me out there.
Why you stop pursuing acting?
Well, I think I was getting older, right? I was finding myself. As a teenager, I started my first company at 15 with my history teacher to start doing youth programming. So we're doing all the anti-violence shows, anti-bullying, and we was going to school to push a positive message. Then was the days where I had the school tours with Emmanuel Hudson. He was on my tour, and Jacob Lattimore, who's, on The Shy, and Shamik Moore, the Spider-Man. Like, all of them was on tour with me back then, like, when I was a young, and they was young, too, right? Right. And so, those, I kind of pushed more into the, singing and rapping at that time. Okay. And so we was doing the shows at the schools, and I was performing, too. So I kind of went in that direction as a teenager.
For sure. And like you said, you got kicked out of 9 schools. So it was a time, I remember at Oglesby, we both was getting in trouble a lot. You think like you getting in trouble and kind of like the tough boy act growing up kind of sabotaged your acting career in the music? Or like
no, it just was just me. It's just, I was good at everything. That's the thing, is I was good at a lot of things, but I had to like lean into what I love the most, and music is what I have loved the most and still do to this day. So I leaned more into that, and I also was doing well and, putting together the school tours and performing. So that's just something that I leaned into.
Speak on fatherhood. You got kids now? Or you got how many kids now?
I got 3. I got 3
kids,
boys.
3 boys.
10, 9, and 6. And man, it's been amazing. It was a crazy time. I had my first son when I was just turning 20. And it was crazy. It was hell at first, right? But it was like an experience that I needed, and it made me who I am today. And they've been my best friends ever since. And I keep them next to me. I had 3 boys. So I was like, God definitely was giving me a message for real.
Right.
And my whole thing is to make sure that I continue to not only, they're privileged, right? More privileged than we was, for sure. But really give them what they need to be the best men they can be in society. And that's my goal with them.
For sure. Is there any struggles with fatherhood, having 3 boys and being like into the politics and into like the spotlight, having to deal with that? Is that a struggle at times?
You know what? My kids, since I've been in a spotlight since they've been born, right? Okay. Like I'm like 15 years in, but like over 10, 11 years, I would say, being, a public figure and popular. So since they were born, even when they was kids, I was doing press conferences, and I had my son in my arm, right? Sure. Like I got old press conferences where they was in them as babies, where I was talking about other kids that was killed. Like I was doing press conferences about it. So they've kind of been a part of the journey from the beginning. So there is natural to them, is normal to them. Even if sometimes they don't understand it fully, they are now in an older age where they like make fun of people who come up to me taking pictures and stuff. Like they now like, oh, they be like Jay Margaret. You know, they like make fun of everybody who approaches me. I got their own little thing about it, but it's normal to them, and they understand it now.
You see one of them kind of like following into your footsteps into the politics?
For sure. I got one.
More interested than others.
For sure. My oldest is a pure athlete who does everything.
Okay.
Gymnastics, basketball, football, soccer, literally everything. And then my middle son is me. So he is like, as far as my personality, they all have a piece of me because I was athletic too. But my middle son is the personality. He told Brandon Johnson came to my house and asked me for help. And Jalen, my middle son, told Brandon Johnson at the door, I told them, listen, when the mayor comes in, y'all greet the mayor, you know, shake his hand, and y'all gonna go to bed, right? And so Jalen told Brandon, you are not better than my daddy. And I was like, damn, like, okay, you know, told the mayor that. But so he's more of me. He sits back and pays attention. Like, he will literally sit somewhere and ask people who they voted for. Like, and not let them know that he my son until after. He'd be like, who did y'all vote for in the mayor? Like he's real into, you know, politics and speaks very well. And my youngest son is kind of a blend of both of them. So yeah, it's a little bit of both.
What's your relationship with Brandon Johnson? Like, I do know that y'all competitors as far as like in the campaigning or the run, but outside of politics, do y'all have like a friendship? If he at your house, I'm sure y'all got some type of.
No, we don't like each other anymore.
At all?
No, not anymore. We had, I mean,
found out he been stealing the money too.
He definitely was stealing some of that migrant money. But you know, I've been knowing Brandon Johnson. When people don't know, I've been knowing Brandon Johnson since I was young, right? Okay. And at least since I was a teenager. And Brandon was the guy who was working for the teachers union. And they were basically kind of being a part of all our protests back then. Kind of riding our coattails for real now that we looking back at it later. But anyway, Stacey Davis Gates and Brandon was kind of riding our coattails from when we were doing the Laquan McDonald protests. If you remember all the protests we was doing downtown, Brandon was down there representing CTU, a part of our protest that we organized, right? Okay. So that allowed CTU to be able to be like, oh, this is what we fighting for, and yada, yada, yada. And that really contributed to his success today.
Oh,
because
so he used y'all work as
like to really make that their agenda.
Right.
So CTU hijacked basically all of the police protests, the education like when I look back at all
like this is what they was pushing.
Yes.
So now and that's why so many people turn on him now, because now they looking at him to uphold those core values, and no, it never really existed. Like y'all, he just basically did. It never
existed. Yeah, they wanted to take power. They wanted to take power, right? Whereas we thought they were allies back then, as we youngins, right? You know what I'm saying?
Tight on.
But they really wanted to take power. So that's what they did.
Be cut though, back
that's how it is. That's how it is. That's politics in the city of Chicago. So so Stacey Davis Gates, who's the head of the teacher union, she wanted to run for mayor, and the polls showed that nobody liked her. So she chose Brandon, which is next in line, and she put Brandon up. And so they cut his hair, because he never cut his hair. He was he's always looking crazy. And they made him today. If you see who he was, when you look at old Brandon Johnson pictures and look at him today, he's totally different. They had to make him a whole makeover to be mayor of Chicago because they wanted to take power.
Wow.
And they spent millions of, $10 million and bought the election, and they did.
And I was just going to say, now that they got that power, however ways they did it, you feel like they misusing it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the difference is like, the issue is we allow the people with agendas to buy this seat to fool people to believe that they're for the people when they're really for their agenda. You know what I'm saying? And they had an agenda walking in. They didn't have an agenda for the people. Like, that's the difference. When I run for mayor, like, there's no union. There's nobody that I'm beholden to, right? Brandon was literally chosen by the people he was beholden to. He never wanted to be mayor, right? So he literally was like, Brandon, we finna make you mayor, right?
Damn.
And so like when you're a puppet like that, right?
Yeah.
You're only gonna be able to do
what they allow
you to do, because you didn't wake up and say, all right, I'm running for mayor for the people. Like, that's not what his goal was.
Right.
So when you look at all the things that have happened since, from migrant money, right? He's signed off with his hands over $1 billion in migrant spending in a couple of years, right? And you can't walk in power and say you care about black people or you care about the neighborhoods, but then give out so much money in so little bit of time, and you have no comparison to an amount that you've given out to the communities that's even in comparison in that time. When have we ever seen that type of investment in our communities? Let's think about it. 2 years, let's just say $500 million per year. When have you seen, walk in our neighborhoods, you got abandoned buildings, you got them abandoned school buildings that sat there for years, and guess what they did with them abandoned buildings? They turned them into migrant shelters.
Churches and everything.
They sat there with these buildings that's been there since 2013, and they waited for a migrant crisis to make a migrant shelters. I mean, like when I say,
did they create a migrant crisis that on the higher ups, like outside of? Because I know they go
for sure.
You think they created it?
It was all created. So what happened was Joe Biden, and these are the facts. Joe Biden laxed the rules at the border, right? And that's why a lot of people were coming over the border. All they had to do was claim refuge and basically say, I'm running from my country, right? So if they claim refuge on the application, then they were set for hearings for, to go to court to see if we'll let them in, right? But since there were millions that came in, we didn't have enough hearing officers to be able to have them hearings. So what happens is that most people who came in, it would take years for them to get a hearing. So in the meantime, since you type refuge, we gotta house you, clothe you, feed you. We got to do everything for you, give you medical care, because you're not going to have a hearing for years. That means that if you don't have a hearing, then you can't get a job waiver, right? So you can't technically work. You are just here waiting on a hearing for years, and we're going to take care of you until you have a hearing.
So the question is, why? Why would they do something as stupid as that? Why would they do something that they know would cause a problem like that? Like, what would be the ultimate goal? What's that word? It's KB Nene, and I'm Just a Girl from Chicago. And you can get your official Just a Girl from Chicago merch available in women and men. I love girls from Chicago. Yeah, we got couples, his and hers. Get you one. Take pictures, tag me in them, and we got them in multiple different colors. You can get it at I'mJustAGirlFromChicago.com. Tap in.
That is a good question. There are a few conspiracies in this, right? Okay. One of the conspiracies is they're trying to create a new voter base, right? A new base of people in regards to politics to help them win, right? So that's one of the reasons, that it was a political agenda tied to it, in which we allowed these millions of people to come over, and then Kamala wins. Right. Then Kamala wins, then we can start to change, because they've already had bills and things that they've pushed to say that we believe even if you're an immigrant and you pay taxes, you should be able to vote. So what happens is we give them the ability to be here, and then we give them a right to vote.
I said that it's basically like buying their loyalty. Like,
correct.
I had just noticing this. Like, I feel like certain parties felt like they was losing the black vote. They was losing certain,
correct.
You feel me? So it was like, okay.
And the Democrats have a lot.
Yeah, so it was basically like, okay, let's fill them in, let's overfeed them, let's give them basically the same thing they did when they was.
That's what they did to black people.
The same thing they did to black people. It's like, okay, so now y'all.
He go food stamps, he go housing.
I know you a male, but y'all ain't fucking with us no more. So we finna go over here. We finna get all of them. We finna take care of them. So now we finna buy their loyalty for the next 400 years.
100%. Because that's what they did to black people. Why do you think our grandmas still vote Democrat? Because their loyalty was bought years ago. And so they beholden to the Democrats. But we've only been Democrat for like 50, 60 years. Like before that, we were Republicans. So we were made Democrats because the Democrats bought us off with the bill. Right. You know what I'm saying? The civil rights bill and the different things. So they said, okay, well, we're going to turn to Democrats. And then the Democrats brought in welfare and all these different things to buy our loyalty.
Yep, and then put in stipulations to our detriment.
Yeah, for sure.
You get it. You had to have like all type of stipulations that.
Yeah, you can't have a man in the house, and you can't, so now now we breaking up the black family.
And now
we're
dealing with the repercussions of it today.
Yes, we are.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah. Back into politics. Okay, so you talked about what made you interested. So what was the point between the activism when you decided like, okay, I'm finna run for mayor, like I can do this. Like at what point was it like the Chase Bank situation, the Laquan McDonald conviction? Like at what point was it like, okay, yeah, I got enough power to do this?
After the Laquan McDonald situation, one of the biggest things when because Rom was like, I'm running again. And I looked at the race and I looked at everybody in the race and I was like, oh, hell no, they finna let this man just become mayor again. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, no, somebody got to get in the race. I'm getting in the race, right? And I'll be the voice for black people, right? So it never was like I said, it never was something that I wanted to do, but it was the circumstance of I knew Rahm Emanuel could not be mayor again after what he did with Laquan McDonald, what he did with shutting down 50 schools, what he did with shutting down every mental health facility, like how his decisions that he made as mayor, is no way we should allow him to be mayor again. And that's what made me run for mayor.
For sure that. Okay, so we got a part of the interview called the hot seat where things get a little intense.
All right.
What can you offer the city of Chicago that the current mayor can't?
Authenticity, first of all. Let me authenticity, integrity, transparency, a vision. I think that, Chicago needs a mayor that's a visionary, really. But a visionary has to also be in tune with the people to understand how to make sure that resources trickle to the neighborhoods. Okay. And so, the difference is I understand real estate, I understand development, business, and I understand the people. Combine all of that, you can create a city of growth. And so I'm not bought by the establishment, and I don't care if I get invited to the Christmas parties, right? I'm about the people. So I think that the difference is I'm not paid and bought like Brandon Johnson is, and that's the difference. And that's just a fact. That's not an attack. It's just the truth. Brandon Johnson was a paid lobbyist of the teachers union, and he was chosen to be the mayor to take power. He never wanted to be mayor, and it never was in his dream.
What do you think is some of those characteristics that like certain parties look for when they looking for like puppets and certain people, like you said, what reason do you think he was chosen for?
The people who are willing to do whatever they're told. And the people who willing to come in and mop their floors for real. Like, it's literally like in the Democratic Party, the people who are selected are the people who were, for years, knocking on doors for their candidates, raising money, making phone calls for fundraising, going to the office to run errands for the higher up politicians. You get what I'm saying? So what happens is those higher up politicians and the head of the party, they're going to choose like, hey, you've been doing well. You want to be a state rep? We got to open it, right? Because you've been working for them, right? And so now they've chosen you to put you there. So what happens is when they put you there, if they need something from you, why would you tell somebody who just gave you immense power and a salary to feed your family no, right? Like there may be times where you might disagree and say no, but most of the time you're going to align with the people who put you there. And so Brandon Johnson was a teacher for 2 years, and then he was a lobbyist for the teachers union for over 10. So he literally was working for the teachers union all these years and doing whatever they told him to do and just leading protests or, whatever, lobbying, for more state funds and stuff like that. And so when it was time to be mayor and Stacey said that the polls showed that she couldn't do it, well, hey, Brandon, let's go. We need you to go.
So what's your political standpoint? It don't sound like you're the biggest fan of the Democratic Party.
No, I'm not the biggest fan of either party. I'm an independent.
Okay.
I'm independent.
So you're not Republican or Democratic?
No, because I don't believe black people should be either. Neither party has done as well.
Explain what an independent party is.
Well, it's not a party. It's just independent, right? So when you're independent, you just don't align with a party. Now, in an election, you'll lean either way. So it just depends on who's running,
who's
right
and who's wrong at
Correct.
that point.
So you may have a ballot where you might like a Republican on the ballot, you might like a Democrat, you might vote half and half, or you might vote all Democrat or all Republican, right? But as an independent, you're not bought. So what happens if you look at the national election, what they try to do is they try to go and get independents who don't believe in a party, because the independents kind of sway who wins. Right. So you kind of sit in the middle, and there are lots of independents. So what happens is you kind of need them to sway your way, because those are not your traditional voters. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I think that's why I stand too
with
the independent, because I kind of agree with some of the stuff that the Republicans say.
Same.
I agree with some of the stuff that the Democrats say, but I understand that both of them got their dirt that they do. So
100%.
yeah.
Both of them are the reasons of why we're in. The truth is that black people should have their own party. Like,
now you
but we
talking
gotta,
my language.
yeah, like we anybody should be able to adopt our agenda, and whoever adopts our agenda is who we gonna ride with. Like, we have been a group that's been at the bottom for too many years. Like, they have done their best to keep their foot on our neck in every department, whether it is wealth. I mean, our wealth has not increased. It has decreased over the years. Shoot, even when you look at the home ownership rate, it has never increased. We're not building Black Wall Streets anymore. They bombed Black Wall Street back there. Like, when you look at every department, education, we are the worst when it comes to how they educate us and our communities. Health, I mean, we're number one in asthma, number one in heart disease, number one in, and it's strategically how they built our communities near the refineries and making sure that we don't have grocery stores and fresh produce. Like, it has been by design. We're at the bottom, right? And at the end of the day, that's been by Republicans and Democrats. Mass incarceration, Republicans and Democrats. Like Jim Crow, Republicans. Like, there's been no party that has ever stood for us.
Right.
And so we should be powerful enough to build economic power and build political power and have our own party, and then say to whoever's running, you got to come see us if you want our vote.
But don't it seem like at times we position somebody to be that, they kill them?
Well, that's happened in the past, and I think that has scared us.
Yeah.
We haven't done it in a while, right? It's like, you know, our leaders who were killed, they killed them on purpose because they knew that would scare black people.
Right. It kind of,
and that's what it does.
That's
what it does. That's why we haven't had any rise of black leaders since. Is because people are scared. You know how many people used to come to me and say, they're going to kill you.
The ones that we have is like the ones that they choose.
It's the ones that they choose.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They got to be selected for real, you know?
I agree. Speak on, you had your car stolen at the casino. The valet. You get your car back?
I did.
And you plan on suing them?
So, you know, there are things that I cannot say, okay?
For sure.
But I will say that it has been resolved.
Well, that's good. That's great. Good. I don't want to get into nothing nobody don't got to talk about. So, plan on running the next election. Can you talk about that?
I can. You know what? I get asked over 100 times a day, truthfully. I just got asked, like, right before I came here by a stranger, right? Like, this is something that's on people's hearts and minds. Last election, we had the least amount of money in the election, and we beat all the elected officials in the election, right? And so that said a lot to the city and to me that we ran such an amazing grassroots campaign that both sitting aldermen who are in the race, I beat them, as well as the majority leader and the state rep that was in the race, I beat them as well. And so for me, as the youngest candidate ever with the least amount of money, to beat sitting elected officials was a big deal. And I think that it's very possible that it can happen again. I don't have an itch for power, right? But I do have passion to impact the people of Chicago. And if it's something that, if I got to make a sacrifice, and I had to take a pay cut too to be mayor, but if I had to make a sacrifice, if I got to take a sacrifice to be mayor of Chicago so that I can really deploy the resources as they should for a couple terms, I'm willing to do that.
So you checking the bag over there with this real estate thing going on, huh? Like, I'm reading in between the lines. So many words. You like, hold on. I got them.
I'm just saying, this Brandon Johnson's biggest job. You get what I'm saying? This most money he ever made. Me, I'll be taking a pay cut.
Y'all finna get into real estate. For sure. Mm-hmm. So a lot of us don't really understand how everything set up with the mayor and all that. So you did lose the election, right?
For sure.
So when you said that you had beat like sitting officials, did you ultimately lose to Brandon?
For sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
what do you think was the reason that you lost that election?
Money.
Yeah.
Well, no, he had the teachers union. The teachers union put in millions, and they partner with other unions, and they put in $10 million, right? So what happens is, here's the downside in elections when you're a person that's not bought. when you're a person that is not bought by an agenda, then you got to raise your own money. And they got
artists.
Right, exactly.
And
it's like an independent.
artist.
There you go. So think of it the same way. Like you got a label that bought Brandon, right?
You got a machine behind you.
You got a machine behind them.
Opposed to you having to fund everything yourself and build your
perfect
machine.
analogy.
Yeah,
that is the best analogy I ever heard. You're exactly right. So I'm the independent artist, and I'm doing this without no label. You feel me? He got a label. The label chose him. He didn't want to be for mayor. He just was chosen by the label. Like it's your turn. And they put the million. They gave him all the resources and all the money. He ain't have to work for.
Because of that, he got a lot of people to answer to. So that's why you said like you gotta it makes sense if you got all these. Then you not really yourself. You really
for sure
is the face of a whole organization.
You're face of the organization. That's why the teachers union got the biggest contract they've ever gotten in history when he walked in. Right.
And the teachers union, what's going on with CPS? They got all this money.
It's unfortunate. CPS is you got so many dozens of schools that don't even have a third of the capacity in there. Right. You got schools that can fit 1,600 kids. They ain't got 200 kids. You have the most illiterate children in CPS, the majority of school districts in the country.
And it's like, and this happened over a span of time. Like kids wasn't always this stupid. Yeah. Like, for real, like we was bad.
We had hooked on phonics back then at least.
We had a comprehension. Like it's not even reading comprehension.
Oh no, it's totally different these days. And we got a way bigger budget than we had.
What?
We spent over $10 billion. Yes, we spend over $10 billion a year on CPS now. The teachers are the #1 paid teachers in the country in Chicago now. On average, they making almost $100,000 a year.
Everybody's stealing.
Yes,
they
real.
Stealing.
On average, teachers are making almost $100,000 a year in Chicago now.
What?
Yes, yes, CPS teachers.
That's putting beer in the coffee.
Yeah.
And then they want to blame it on the drill music.
Yes.
And the internet.
And so we are in a state of disarray. But when you have the teachers union, a public sector union that is just fighting to keep pulling money, that's why our property taxes was raised. If people look at our property tax bill, the majority of all the money went for more money for CPS. So CPS is continuously getting money, and there are no results.
So live in your house is going up to send your kids to a school that they're not even being taught nothing.
There you go.
Baby.
What? When I say that is the most craziest thing in the world. Our schools are miseducating our kids. They don't have resources.
That's what they've been demanding the money for with the other strikes.
Yes.
So this is what it's all about. These people the teachers wanted more money.
Yes.
But ain't really, man, it's
unfortunate. It's insane. So that's why we now have to just think about this. We got the #1 most paid teachers in the country. We got a huge budget, over $10 billion we spending on CPS a year, and look at the results.
Oh,
first of all, the amount of kids in CPS has drastically declined because people are like, man, I ain't sending my kids to CPS.
They not sending their kids.
They sending their kids to charter schools.
They rather pay it out of pocket.
Yes. And so now you got majority. That's why they were filling in with the migrant crisis.
I was just going to say,
all of the migrant
kids
kids.
going to CPS.
Yes, correct. So that's why he was really mad because now all the money that they would have got for the migrants being in there, the migrant kids, they've taken that money, right? So now the migrant kids, and imagine this, when they was going to CPS, they got a book bag, they got free food, they got everything. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they can miss as many days as possible, and they wouldn't even get disciplined for it. Whereas if you was a regular kid and you miss a bunch of days, you get, expelled or held back. You get what I'm saying? With migrants, they didn't have those rules. So when I say it's been crazy what's been going on, it's been crazy.
What's that word? It's KB Nene, and I'm at Iron Team Studios, where they had the best mixing and mastering and the top-notch security. Cameras everywhere, so you can feel secure and safe while you record your music. You can also come and record your content. And if you're interested in starting a podcast, or if you need a location to film your podcast, your set can look like this. We got A1 quality, A1 cameras, A1 production. Come tap in with my people. You can book your time slot at www.ionteam.com. Lock in. It's been real crazy, and I'm sure that it's very stressful. The politics seem like it's very, very. I thought the internet was stressful.
Oh no, politics is real, man, and it is It's a real dirty game.
Yeah.
And people don't know. The thing is that we don't play politics. Black people, we stay out. That's why I lost, is people don't vote, right? It's like we stay out. Not even a third of voters.
White people do what they do. That's how
that's
the average
it.
black person
And so
see it.
not even a third of voters vote, right? You got 1.6 million registered voters, man, and you can't even get 30% of people to vote. And the majority of those people are white, and the majority of the people that vote are over 55. So we are literally in a state of emergency where we gotta stop and pay attention to this, because we having children. Our children are about to come into a system of corruption. We live in the most corrupt state and city in the country. Every politician, every politician that is in power still is going to jail. You get what I'm saying? Like the Speaker of the House, who was the Speaker of the House for 51 years as of a few years ago, just went to jail 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, it's so ghetto.
The longest running city council member, Ed Burke, was there 51 years. He just got out of jail 2 weeks ago. So when I say the corruption in our state, where if you have a state where the vast majority of all of your governors have went to jail, that's how much corruption is done.
But Chicago has always been like this.
It has.
All the way down to the mob. Like it's always been
always
corrupt.
has.
Like it's embedded in us.
Yep.
Well-being check, going through all this, knowing all this. How you doing mentally?
You know what? Mentally, I'm doing well. You know what I'm saying? After the race, it was rough. You know what I'm saying? After that year, but I think that now I'm in a very motivated state. I mean, with Generational Green, we helping so many people. We've done millions and millions and millions in sales of people who usually wouldn't be able to buy homes. And we're helping them buy homes. Even Section 8, we're the number one CHA provider of taking voucher holders and making them homeowners. Like it is man, it's amazing to see how we're taking people who've been on Section 8 and we're making them landlords. They're buying 2 units and moving in their own 2 unit. And I think that to see the work we've been doing and the impact, I'm just excited.
So what resources, you said it's called Generational Green, like what resources do you offer to do that? Like you said you're an investor, or you all like cleaning up credit? Like
we do everything. So Generational Green is a one-stop shop for home ownership, right? And so we have credit repair program, we got a tax clinic, and we partner with all of the different banks and entities that offer grants. So when you come in, we know where to place you to make sure that you got the best deal possible. So majority of our clients spend less than $3,000, and really majority of them spend less than $1,000 or spend no money at all at the closing table. So most of the time, people are closing. When you see people closing on my page, they're not spending no money when they come to the closing table. Yeah, they're literally coming to get keys. You know what I'm saying? So
come give me some keys.
It's but that's generational wealth. People got to understand. We got like 40% of black people who own homes in the country. Like we're the lowest of any culture in America. We know it's by design. If we took it from 40 to 50%, that's over $400 billion in wealth that we'll be able to create. So that's our mission, is helping to increase the home ownership rate and make people buy their blocks and buy their hoods so that we can increase the wealth in our communities. If we increase the wealth in our communities, then we can start playing a real political power game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I got to get on board. I got to get it through. Yeah, for sure. Only thing I was like kind of I was interested in the real estate, but I was more so like on going to buy the abandoned buildings and then rehab them.
Yeah.
Like you do stuff.
Those
like
too.
That
Yep.
too.
We got an investment club. Yep.
So you can invest into like.
Yeah. We got a class.
Yeah,
We got a class, and we teach on-site investment, and then we also show them how they can start their first project. So. Yep. So we got an investment club too. We got a new class starting in January. We do a 6-week and a 12-week class. And we got a new project that we starting in Beverly that I just closed on last week. So that's going to be for the next class.
Tell people how to get in touch with you if they interested in real estate and investing.
Hey, generationalgreen.com. Generational Green.
For sure. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with them. I'm definitely finna be tapping in next year for sure. So
yeah.
I can legitimize myself. I'm trying to get into the homeowner. Well, not so much home, like I just own a home right now, but I definitely want to get into like the real estate investment.
For sure. Every property is investment. That's how we got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Is how can we turn it into wealth for our families? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like I help people come in if you want this big house and you want to live in some way. I can show you how to start to get there. You can't get there on the first round, right? But we can first start with a multi-unit. We can come back and we can get a 3-unit. We can come back and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are steps to getting there based on where you are today. And it's just all about us using the power that we have, our buying power that we have today, and turning into something that you turn around and 3 years from now, you're like, man, this property worth $150,000 more. Yeah, right. when have you ever just touched $150,000 at one time? Now you can either sell that property, refinance, or do a line of credit and pull that $100,000 out. And now you can invest in your next property. You know what I'm saying?
Because all of the, like we was talking about the teachers union, all the money that's put into the schools, they don't teach us nothing about.
They don't
credit,
teach you that, or financial literacy, or none of that.
Literacy.
Even when you look at, this is what kills me. Even when you look at Brandon Johnson and how politicians speak, you know what they say? Affordable housing. This is the new word. I want y'all to listen to this. I'm going to educate y'all on this. Affordable housing, because what they want is they want everybody to continue to rent. So what happens is they built these affordable housing buildings that they're spending almost $800,000 to $1 million per unit to build. Do you know that if you look at all these buildings, look at 79th and Halsted and all these different, when I say
condo on 79th and Halsted is insane.
Do you know they spent $48 million to build that building? $1 million per, but damn near almost $1 million per unit. It's like 50 units in there. 50
79th
and
every business around it is closed.
Because it's all fraud. What they do is they take all of these government incentives from the city, state, and the feds, and they bloat these budgets, and they put all these different fees of lawyers and all this, and everybody get paid on each project. They be getting paid $6 figures to $1 million per project. And they get all that money to say they build an affordable housing and take all these tax credits, and they spend $48 million to build that property. You know what I'm saying? And what we gonna do? We're going to go cut the ribbon and act like this was okay. Right. It don't take $1 million per apartment to build, just to keep us renting. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's my thing: if we had a program where, all right, we're going to incentivize people to build multi-units in the neighborhood, and we're going to turn them into condos so people can own.
Right.
Like, we have to be pushing ownership. Whenever they pushes you to rent or whatever they want to build, they building a lot of these senior facilities on purpose so that they can put our seniors in one building so they can come give them turkeys and take them to the polls. You get what I'm saying? Their whole goal is to control us.
Right.
So how can they control us? They make you rent, put you in a building where they can contain you. This is how they control us. We have to have freedom. And the only way to have freedom is if we own our block.
For sure that. Anything else that you got me speechless? Anything else that we didn't cover that you want to cover? Any misconceptions that you want to clear up before we get out there?
Misconceptions. I mean, I think we definitely covered a lot. I mean, I think that we just have to start having more community conversations, right? Sure. It's like, because I think what happens is everybody do their own thing and independently, and we judge each other, and you know, we don't like who and we don't like who. And this is really why we're in this position. Sure. Everybody that has the mindset of wanting to help the people, we got to come together. And we got to get ego off the table, right? Sure. And the only way that we can get to where we're getting, because all these other communities, you go to Chinatown, they don't care if they have a leader in power, because Chinatown is a unified front.
For sure that.
You know, Greek town, Jews have the most power in this country than anybody, and they're the smallest amount of people in this country, right, percentage-wise, because they move as a unit. Mm-hmm. Black people today will look at each other and be like, nah, we don't like him, I ain't rolling with him, we don't, or he this, or he that, or try to tear each other down. We have to move as a unit, because our kids really are truly going to suffer at the fact that we all are participating in individualism. So I just hope we can bring some sort of unity in Chicago and show the rest of the country what that can look like and how we can take back our neighborhoods. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Yeah, me too. And I try to use my platform to do that. I try to use my voice and try to be, you feel me, influencing my community as far as bringing the community together. So for sure, I definitely.
And I appreciate you and all your work.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on the platform. You feel me? It's all love. You know, it's always been love. You always welcome. And anything I could do to help, I'm with it.
For sure.
Let me know. So
I appreciate you.
We here for a good time, not a long time. Until next time. I'm KB Nene, just a girl from Chicago. Jamal Green. Yeah. thank y'all for tuning in. If you want to be a guest on my next episode, or if you want to be a sponsor on the next episode, hit that link. You can send me some merch. I can promote you, tag you on my Instagram socials. We can collaborate. So hit me up, hit that link. Let's lock in. Let's work.